Hello everybody, my name is Steve Marchant and this is my wood shop. Well, what's left of it. I've had to move a load of my stuff out because water's coming in from a few of the corners. It's pouring down rain earlier. So it's a minimalistic version of Steve Marchant's wood shop today. Today we're going to be looking at the scroll saw. A scroll saw is a fantastic tool. If you use the right blade, you can cut almost anything, well, any shape on it. So to start with, there are two different types of blade you can get, or blade fittings you can get with it. You can have a pin type blade or a clamp type blade, and I'll show you what they are. So a clamp type blade will have just simple flat ends on them. As you can see, they're very thin as well. This is a spiral type, the only type I use. But the clamp type ends are literally flat, so they can go in a clamp and it will hold it in place like this. You can also get pin type blades, like I just mentioned. They will be flat at the ends and have a tiny little pin going through the top. And what that does, it just hooks onto the top and bottom of where they're supposed to go on the scroll saw, which I'll show you in a second. Now, as well as fitting types, there is also a couple of different types of blades themselves. There's the spiral blade, like this one I've just shown you. Get a close up on it. So I don't know if you can see this well or not, but basically the blade, instead of being straight up and down, twirls around in a spiral so it can, as it's cutting, go in any direction. And I don't actually use straight blades anymore, and I'll tell you why in a minute when I demonstrate the tool for you. So that's pretty much all there is to know about the blades. It's like a jigsaw. The machine goes up and down, so it cuts on the downstroke. And that's it. The spiral ones go in any direction, front ones only cut front ways. Pretty much all there is to know. The teeth spacing is the same as with a jigsaw blade, table saw blade, circular saw blade, any kind of saw blade. The teeth spacing has the exact same effect as with any blade. Right, let's take a closer look at the scroll saw and see how it works. Okie dokie, this is a bit of a novelty for me because I'm sat down. I've taken the casing off mine so you can see the inside of it, hopefully. Well, it's a bit dark in the shop for you to be able to see the inside of it, but all it is the arm mechanism that spins and pushes the blade up and down. The motor on this side spins and it turns this cog up and down and moves the arm up and down. That's pretty much it. So, as with most tabletop saws or freestanding saws, it's got a base plate, which is cast aluminium, I think. All that you need to know is that it's supposed to be perfectly flat. So your workpiece rests upon here and it pushes through the blade here. These are supposed to have a dust shield mounted on top here, but they are so cumbersome, they just get in the way and I can't see where I'm cutting, so I just took mine off straight away. On this end here, there's the tensioning knob, and it tells you which way you turn it to get it to loosen or to increase the tension. And the reason you'd want to do that is you have to loosen the tension to be able to take the blade out of the machine, and then once the blade is in the machine, you tighten it up to pull it taut so it doesn't flex around and bend when you're cutting wood, because then that just won't make for a very straight cut, or the blade won't go where you want it to be. So coming out of this shaft here, there's a little plastic tube, and all that does is it collects the airflow that's generated from the arm that moves up and down, and the output from the motor, up this shaft here, and it blows air through the tube and points toward your workpiece and where the saw cuts. So it just blows a little bit of dust away from your workpiece as you're cutting, which is handy, but it doesn't, it doesn't do a lot. It's not like a leaf blower or anything. It's not going to create a whirlwind. It's just enough to clear a little bit of dust out of the way out of your line of sight. So, as with all of my tools, it is very dusty. But at least it's not a work zone one. So this is the motor here. They're usually not very powerful. They don't need to be, because all it does, like I say, is move this little arm up and down. Off switch there, on switch there, and that's all there is to it. That is literally all there is to the simple scroll saw. Right, let's give it a demonstration then. But before we do that, I might as well not say it. It's coffee time. Oh, can't forget a milk. Ooh, positive there. This is a coffee pot, not a teapot, by the way. Tasty. Okie dokie, so now that's taken care of. We'll go through the different types of clamp or the attachment for the scroll saw blades and show you how they work. So the one that I've got installed on here at the moment, well, the only one I ever use is the clamp type blade, which, if you remember telling you about earlier, is the spiral type. And first of all, we've got to untension the blade. Spinning that, and it simply pops out. Very simply. There we go. Wow. Okay, so as you'll see, it's a round little clamp with two Allen key slots on each side. So what you'll do is you'll put an Allen key into the side here. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. And then that'll loosen the jaws inside. You can take the blade out, and there's one on each end. So if you imagine a pin type blade, won't have any need for these clamps. It will just have a little tiny pin sticking out of each side, which will slot in there. And this is the little jaw, arbor, bracket, clamp thing. And if you take a closer look, you'll see that it has a little divot in the middle there for the clamp to sit in. And like I say, if it's a pin type blade, you won't have to put the clamps on because the pins will slot into those little divots. So when you install the blade, you first have to drop the bottom clamp in there, and it hooks onto a very similar setup inside the machine. And once it's hooked in, like so, then you keep hold of the clamp, bring the arm down, and that slides right in there and slots into the divots. And then of course you've got to tighten the tension knob on the other side, and that'll stop it from wobbling around as you're cutting it. You'll know if you haven't tensioned it properly because it won't cut the wood straight and it'll make a weird noise. And you can tell, well, I can tell because I've been using a scroll saw for a long time now. You can tell by the tune that the blade makes as you pluck it. So as you tension it, you'll be able to hear it so about that. It's much higher pitch and it doesn't wobble as much. And that's how you install the blades. Like I said, it's so much easier with a pin type blade, but these spiral type blades that I like using don't come in the pin type attachment for some strange reason. I have no idea why, but you can't get them in that type of attachment, so you have to buy these clamps separately if your scroll saw doesn't come with these kind of clamps. Okay, so as usual, you're going to want your ear defenders whenever you use a power tool. Put your dust mask on as well. I'll put mine on when I start using the tool. And what I'm going to do is just draw a simple shape on this plywood and show you how easy it is to cut any shape out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a tree. Right, let's get started. And there you have it. Any shape you can cut around, any shape you can think of, you can cut on the scroll saw. And with the right type of blade, you can cut anything. Very, very versatile tool. And there's just the only limit to what you can cut is your patience and your artistic skill. I mean, it's going to take a few years of practice to get as good at drawing cauliflower hand tree things as me, but I'm sure you'll get there. You know, just a little bit of practice, that's all it takes. And in addition to cutting out silly little drawings like that of the cauliflower hand tree thing, you can cut letters, so you can make little nameplates for people. You can cut inside circles, so if you want to cut an inside shape, say if you're drawing the letter P and you're cutting a letter P out, obviously you can go around the P with the blade normally set up like that, but for the inside of the hole on the P, the top of the loop, you will first drill a hole in the P. I've just realised how silly that sounds. So you first drill a hole in the loop of the P, and what you do is you unclamp your scroll saw blade and poke the blade through the little drill hole, redo the clamp, and then set it up with the workpiece already in the middle. And then you can cut out little circles in the lettering. So like I said, there really is no limit to what you can do with a scroll saw. As long as obviously the wood isn't too thick, but chances are you'd use a bandsaw or a jigsaw for things like that anyway. Okay, and that really is all there is to a scroll saw. I couldn't demonstrate the straight blade for you because for some reason, no matter how hard I try, either my machine doesn't like them or I just can't use them. The straight ones just don't cut in a straight line for me. I don't know what it is. No matter how I try and tilt the wood, try and keep the wood straight, anything like that, the blade seems to just wander over to one side. I've tried different tensions of a blade. I can't figure it out. So I always use the spiral clamp type blades. They're so much easier, especially for beginners. You don't have to keep moving the wood around to change direction. You can just literally, so much easier. So scroll saws, I got mine second hand. I've had two different scroll saws now, both pretty much done the same thing. They were about £20 second hand. You can get a brand new one for around £50, 50 to £60. Newer ones will have torches on them. They'll have automatic blade tensioners, so you don't have to turn a knob, you can just flip a lever. You can buy ones for, I think I saw one today for about £350. I could not for the life of me see where that extra money went on the machine. It had a slightly bigger table, but you can get quite big tabled scroll saws for around £100. So again, I'm one of those people, if you can get one cheaper, it does the same job, why spend that kind of money on something? I don't know. Thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate every single one of you, all 2 people who watch these videos. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You'll be able to see all of the new woodworking videos that I post up. It's all about teaching the very basics of every power tool I own, or every tool I own, and show you how easy it is to get started in woodworking and how cheap it can be if you buy second-hand, all that kind of stuff. Please give this video a like if you liked it. Leave a comment, tell me why you liked it, what I can improve. Tell me I'm awesome, tell me I'm daft, anything like that. But have a great day, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.